people feel like there are these structures or there are these rules or a blueprint they have to follow to succeed. And I think quite the opposite. It's really that you set the goal and then you just figure out how to make it happen.
You're listening to Titans of the Trades. I'm your host, Ryan Englin, author of Hire Better People Faster and creator of the CoreFit Hiring System, a proven process to help growing companies attract and retain only the best. I'm on a mission to revolutionize the perception of the trades and elevate it to new heights. After growing up in a blue-collar family, my passion for making the trades cool again runs deep. If you're a titan in the industry and want to be on my show, stick around until the end and I'll reveal how you can be my next guest. Welcome back to another episode. My name is Ryan Englin, and today's guest is from an organization that you may know if you've been following the show for a while. He's the Vice President of Product Management over at XOi. If you don't know what XOi is and you're in the MEP space, and especially in the HVAC space, you need to check them out because they're doing some amazing stuff, not just through technology, but also to equip and train your techs, which we know right now, we need to start training more techs. So it's a pretty amazing tool. But I sit down with Lee Bridges today, and we get to talk a little bit about how he got into the product management space and also what he's learned along the way, some great principles that you can apply in your own business. All right, get ready to take some notes. I want to introduce Lee Bridges, the Vice President of Project Management over at XOi. Lee, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Good to be here, Ryan. Thanks.
XOi, the company that you're a part of, we've actually had guests on the show prior to this, so I'm very familiar with what you guys are doing over there, but some of our listeners may not know who you are or what XOi is, so can you share with us a quick little background on that?
Of course. So XOI is focused on the entire equipment life cycle. So we are in the field service space, of course, mainly HVAC and commercial kitchen, but we have other trades that use our software. And we are all about making it possible to keep that equipment up and running as often and for as long as possible. So we use data to do that. We engage with the technician on the job site to capture data that helps us understand the equipment and diagnose and helps them talk to their customers in very defensible and kind of building that trust with their customer, being able to back it up with photos and videos and things like that. So we do a lot. We engage with customers across the entire ecosystem, any OEMs, distributors, field service providers, and then the end customers themselves. So we engage across the ecosystem.
And I can tell firsthand that we've had some clients that are customers of XOi. And I'll never forget, I was sitting down with a client of ours, I don't know, probably 3-4 years ago. And I was asking them, what is it that makes you so unique? What is it that makes you so different? Why would someone want to come join your team? And they're like, oh, because of this and this and this. And tell me that. I'm like, do you have examples of that? And I remember him, he looks right at me, he goes, I've got like 12,000 examples of that. And I'm like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
And he
Yeah.
showed me his XOi library. And he's like, here are 12,000 examples. I go, what do you do with this? He goes, well, I'm going to start using it to tell everybody how awesome we are as well. So it's really cool because I think XOi was born out of this idea of being able to support technicians, support the industry, be able to really help them troubleshoot and maintain this equipment, extend the life, those kinds of things. But I've also seen when people start thinking about it, like what XOi provides to their customers, you can use it in marketing, you can use it in training, you can use it in onboarding. Like there's so many
That's right.
cool things that you can do with just these short little videos that these technicians are creating every time they are on a job site. Now, you've been with the company for about 5 years and you're the VP of product management. Is that correct?
That's correct.
So talk to me about this idea of it being a product, what you're seeing right now with what's going on in the world. I asked you before I hit record, like, how's AI playing into all this? Because everybody's asking that question, like, where's AI at? Talk to me a little bit about how that product's evolving now that AI is so mainstream.
So you're right. We have always been focused on the technician. I mean, after all, they're the ones doing the work and they're the ones maintaining that equipment, fixing it, making sure that their customer is happy. So that engagement with the technician while they're on the job site produces just all this equipment data. We have over 50 million data points on equipment in just the last year.
In a
That's
year.
just the last year.
Wow.
So the business has changed in that we have started to just realize the power of that data and make it actionable for all of our clients. So, not only can they say, yes, this is the condition of the equipment whenever we left the job site, and they can really prove this is what was wrong, this is how we fixed it, all of those things, what you're talking about with your client and how they differentiated themselves compared to the competition. But we are also giving them now the power to really grow their business through this data, and they get these standardized data points across equipment, and whenever they go to sell a maintenance contract or they go to sell a new piece of equipment, they have this transparent data set that they can go to their customers with that really sets them apart. And so we are focused on taking this product, continuing to support the technician, make sure that they can do their job well on the job site, first time, every time. But then also, what do you do after the fact? What do you do with the data that's collected? And how do you make that powerful for all of these clients of ours? So that's how our product's really grown over the years and something that I've been really proud to be a part of. We've, of course, implemented some AI features, but I think we're looking at it a little differently. This is not just a chatbot thing that we want to do. We don't want to um, just implement it for AI's sake. Of course, everyone is interested in how can AI help my company, but we're trying to simply look at it as another
Mm,
tool for our clients to use, and how can we build it into our software in a way that makes sense, not just to say we did it, but something that's going to save them time, make their job easier, maybe make them look better to their customer. One of our earliest implementations of AI was an AI summary feature. And so the technician is already saying, here's what I did. They're recording photos and videos, taking a couple notes, answering some questions. Now, with just a tap of a button, they get an entire summary created that the customer can read, and it's built off of the real data that was captured by the technician, and it saves between 5 and 10 minutes every site visit for our technicians. Doesn't sound like a lot, but that adds up. It adds up over time, and over 80% of the work summaries on our platform are helped out by AI. So it's fun to see kind of just the way we can use technology to solve these real world problems and help technicians do what they love doing, which is working with their hands, fixing equipment, maintaining it, helping their customer with whatever issues they have, so that they can have food safety, taken care of, or they're comfortable in their house, or some people are fixing HVAC units in hospitals, so they're a real health concern. So they're focused on getting that equipment up and running, and we need to help them do that as efficiently as possible.
I love where you went with that because I think so many people are implementing AI for implementing AI's sake, right? Like
Right.
they don't want to be late to the party. So they're like figuring out how to do it. But you really said, what's the human need? What is it that the
Mhm.
people need? How do we best support the people? And not just putting AI just to give them more things to run through, but how do we make them more efficient? And things like the work summaries. I mean, when I hear 10 minutes a call, and even if I'm doing 2 calls a day, which is light for some contractors, that's
Mhm.
another 1 or 2 jobs a week that I can get that technician to. So that 10 minutes might not sound like a lot, but in the big picture, 1 or 2 more calls a week, 4 to 8 more calls a month per technician really impacts the revenue of the company, the bottom line, the customer service, everything else. And I don't know about you, but I know some techs, they do not like typing up work
That's
summaries.
that's right. I mean, they didn't get into this for that. No one.
Yeah, they don't want to do anything on the tablet, let
That's right.
alone type that. They want to fix stuff. That's what they want to do. They want to be on the job site. They want to be getting dirty. They want to fix stuff. I love it. Now, you did something unique a couple years ago over at XOI. I want to know a little bit more about this learning with your boots on, because I think we often, and I see this happen with a lot of software companies in particular, but I think we see this at more of a leadership level too, where we make the assumption we know what our people need and we're not going to go figure that out. Tell me a little bit about that. Like, what were some of the highlights of that? Actually, what made you think of that? What were the highlights of it? What shifts in your perspective did you have after you finished that journey?
I love you bringing this up. So one of our core values as XOI is put ourselves in our technician work boots. So we are, it's a little play on words, of course. You want to imagine yourself in someone else's shoes. We want to imagine ourselves in our technician's work boots. And the learning with your boots on came from that core value of our company. And so this is all about us understanding what a technician goes through, not just day to day, but also as they use our application. You'd be surprised how many people work on software or they market it or they sell it and they don't actually use it. They don't know what it's like to use their own product. I never want that to be the case for my team. I've got a team of product managers. I work with other people in the company, of course, across marketing and sales and engineering. And I want us all to understand what it's like to be a technician and also what it's like to use our tools so that we can build it better and we can sell it better or we can market it better or uh, we can just understand what it's like. And so put together this experience for the entire company, and it was required that everyone be a part of it. There is no our CEO did it, our leadership team did it, everyone did it, and it is all about just getting outside, being in front of a piece of equipment. Of course, not opening it up. We don't want a software engineer opening a panel and being around live wires, but what would it be like to encounter an issue, have to tell the customer about that issue, have to figure out how to fix it and then document this is what I did. And so, um, if you run into an issue, how would you get help? How would you use our app to find the information you need to make your life easier? So, it really it helped kind of ground the entire company in the truth of what it's like to be in the field. And so, even though we're making software, I want us to relate to the people that are using it.
That's so cool. And I imagine some of your personal background, like you're not a software guy. Like it's not like you've been in software your entire
No,
adult life, professional career. You actually have a background in music industry, which I think
that's
is
right.
really fascinating, very creative. Uh, Lots of ups and downs and uncertainties and everything else. And I know that you used to be out here in Nashville, and I'm sure that's that part of what drove those roots. Talk to me a little bit about that experience, that upbringing you had in the music industry, and how that applies to the creativity and how that shapes what you're doing today over at XOI. Because I really do think XOI is doing some things that people haven't thought of before, and I know there's a huge creative side to that. And tell me a little bit about what you learned in the music industry and how you're using that today.
Yeah, no problem. So, yeah, I moved to Nashville, 18 years old, bright-eyed, didn't know what was gonna happen. Thought I was gonna go to college there in Nashville and even was enrolled, but I moved to town to work with a producer over the summer before school started, and just really got lucky, but also worked hard that summer. I was able to work on some albums that, I worked in the studio. So I was working, recording, mixing, things like that. And that experience, the producer was like, "You don't need to go to school." I was like, "Really?" And so I really learned a lot from other people. I was very lucky to meet certain people, but then also saw a future for myself and just worked however I could, nights, weekends, all the time, and just tried to make it happen. And so I worked in music for about 10 years. And you're right, there's something about that experience. I had to run my own business while I did that. I had to kind of market myself. I had to go out and get jobs. I was an independent contractor. So I'd say no matter how well I did my job, every week I lost my job because I would only work on an album for about a week and then I had to find another album to work on. And I had all these experiences kind of running my own business and getting that work and then also doing a good job at the work itself, trying to make the music sound good. And it was a real balance of creativeness and really kind of business slash technical mindedness that allowed me to succeed. I worked on hundreds of albums over the course of about a decade and it was a lot of fun. It's hard to call it a job. I've met a lot of cool people. If anyone's watching the video of this, they can see some albums behind me. I worked on a couple gold albums, some platinum, Grammy nominated, things like
Some of the
that.
names that I came across, I'm like, "Oh, I know that band, I know that band, I know that band."
Yeah,
So it's cool. It's
yeah.
so
So
cool.
it was a lot of fun and hard to call it a job, like I said. So, but at the same time, I was looking to do something different with my life after that. I was looking for a steady paycheck for one. I was looking for a different type of life, and that's how I got into product. I came up with an idea for an iPad app for musicians. This was right after the iPad had come out. In 2011, I started working on this project, and hired some software developers and built it, and that's how I got into product. But it really is that balance of kind of creativeness and some technical ability and a business mind, which came from that music experience, that time in my life. I learned a lot.
I think it's so cool. And really I wanted you to share that because I think there's a lesson for all of us in there that as we're evolving our companies and developing our companies that we can't just go, "Oh, I need the old timer that's been in the industry for 30 years," because that really can get in the way of innovation. And I'm sure a lot of that creative upbringing has been able to tie into why you're head of product management now and you're helping develop this software platform for the trades, which is so cool. You
That's
also developed another software platform, a community.
yeah.
I love it. Every time I bring this up, his face just lights up. So if you're listening to this right now, you got to go check out the YouTube. But Lee, when Spun It, tell us about Spun It. I just real quick, but I love how passionate you are and how you just light up when I bring up Spun It. So tell us what that is.
Yeah, Spun It is a passion project. It's a side gig for me. I love just building something that is engaging for myself and also for other people. And so it's tied to my passion for vinyl collecting. So I love listening to music. Vinyl is an old school kind of thing, but I like the tactile. I pick up a record, I put it on the turntable, and I spin the record, and that's where the name Spun It comes from. So, Spun It allows you to kind of document your listening journey and engage with other people that are doing the same type of listening. So, there's really a community on there that's not, there's no political thing. There's nobody taking pictures of their vacations or anything. It's just people talking about the music they're listening to. And they can kind of give little short descriptions of the record. How good was it? They can rate it, and other people can engage with that. And I found music through the app actually, which is really fun for me. I've been able to build this app. People start using it, and I see other people that listen to things that are similar to me start listening to other stuff that I've never heard of. I'm like, "Oh, that's interesting. Let me go check that artist out," or I didn't know they made a vinyl version of that. Let me go, check out that record." And so it's just, it's a hobby, but it's a lot of fun, and it kind of fits my habit of taking something I love and turning it into something that, I can engage other people with, and building that product is a way that I've been able to do that. So it is a lot of fun. You see it in my face.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah,
I love it. And I love this because this leads right into the next thing I wanted to ask you about. You've talked about love as a differentiating project feature. and you're talking about loving Spun It and the community and everything else. Like, help unpack that for us, because I think that so often, especially in the trades, we get so focused on break fix and all the equipment and everything else, and we forget that there is a massive human element. Like, I mean, we're nothing without our people in the trades, and I think we forget that things like compassion and empathy and love and all these other things matter. So unpack that for us. Love as a differentiating product feature, and then when before you wrap up, can you give us an example of how that would work, especially like in a software platform, or even for our listeners in the trades right now?
Sure. So there are a couple different ways I think about love as a differentiator. And really, I was raised, my dad taught me that love was a commitment. And that even though there's a feeling and obviously a romantic feeling for a lot of people, there's different types of love. But even in that relationship that you may have, it's about the commitment to that person. And I feel the same way about people that use my products and about the product itself. I'm committed to helping this product and the people that use it. And the reason they use it is because they have a gap. They have something that they need to do or they have to do over and over again. And but that doesn't fit what they want to be doing. It's really about this gap helps achieve a goal for them. And so the love I have there is around the commitment I have to helping them achieve their own goals. And
Uh,
so those gaps, filling those gaps with software, which sounds very just benign, or I don't know, it sounds simple or kind of boring, but the way I look at it, it's a very, um, exciting thing for me because I talk to these people every day. I relate to a lot of them, honestly. I relate to the technicians, I relate to the people who were technicians that then started their own companies and built this thing. They're all learning on the job. They're building something that they just saw a vision for it and they're building it. They're just doing it. And I feel like that's the way I've lived my life. I That's how I got into music. That's how I got into software. I
uh,
see that vision for what they're trying to do and I think I can help. And so this it is empathy. It is kind of I wanna take care, and, like, build these people up and these companies up to match the goal that they see, the vision that they see, but it's also the commitment. And so those are the 2 ways I think about it. It's that, like, compassion that you mentioned, but also the commitment to the outcome, the commitment to the goal.
I'd love to that we are in the people business. Like, that's what we do. I know you guys do software, but all your end users are people, and we have to really embrace them and show them that we care. And even like you said earlier, we got to be able to walk in their boots. We got to see the world through their eyes, and that's where that empathy comes from. So as we get ready to wrap up here, and I want to give you a chance as well to share how people can learn more and how they can connect with you. But as we wrap up, think back of you've been on what I think is a pretty spectacular journey. At 18, moved to Nashville. I'm going to go be a music star. And then after a while, taking what you learned there and starting to apply it to product in an industry that you may not have even been really that familiar with. And I love that it shows that people from different backgrounds can still bring great, amazing work ethic and development to new organizations. But if you could go back and you could give your apprentice self, like think back when you were 18, one piece of advice about product, about leadership, about empathetic innovation, what would it be?
I think I would just encourage myself to double down on making it happen.
Uh,
There are people feel like there are these structures or there are these rules that they have to or a blueprint they have to follow to succeed. And I think quite the opposite. It's really that you set the goal and then you just figure out how to make it happen. You and I think early on I had a hang up about, there's a certain way to do things. There's a certain path that I'm supposed to go on. I enrolled in college. Thought I was supposed to do a certain thing. And I think I would just encourage my young self to really go for it.
Yeah.
And there's no one that understands the problem better than the person that's experiencing it. And so I would say set the goal, understand the situation you're in, be as clear-eyed as possible, and then go for it and try to make it happen. So that's what I mean. I've been successful in that, but I have been hung up a couple times trying to figure out what am I supposed to do? Well,
Mhm.
there's not a supposed to in life. There's a, you got to just make it happen. That's what I would encourage myself.
Yeah. Yeah, as I see a lot of owners and operators struggling with the labor crisis that we have and thinking about how do we reinvent ourselves? What do we do? And there's this sometimes there's this fear of being a little different or changing things. I've even run into some people like, I have this amazing idea for a software product, but I'm too scared to do it. You know?
Yeah.
I love that advice of just doubling down. Lee, this has been great. If people want to learn more about you, maybe they want to check out your passion project, or they even want to learn more about XOI, how can they connect with you and do that?
Sure. Leebridges.com or on LinkedIn. Those are the two places you can find me. Of course, XOI is at xoi.io. Would love for them to check out XOI. We're doing some really cool things. I think we're looking at the future with a lot of excitement. I think the next year is going to be a lot of fun.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you so much for being on the show today. I've enjoyed it, learned a lot. And I will not forget how you light up when I talk about Spun It. So that was just incredible. So thank you for that.
Thank you, Ryan. It's been great.
Ryan Englin here. Thank you so much for listening to Titans of the Trades. If you're a titan in the construction, manufacturing, or skilled trades industry and would like to be a guest on my show, please visit podcast.corematters.com. If you found value in this interview, would you share this episode on social media? Just do a quick screenshot on your phone and share it with a friend or post it on social. And if you know someone that would be a great guest, tag them on social media to let them know about the show and include the hashtag Titans of the Trades. I love seeing your posts and guest suggestions. We are regularly putting out new episodes and content. To make sure you don't miss any episodes, click the subscribe button. Your thumbs up, ratings, and reviews go a long way to help promote the show and get me one step closer to solving the labor crisis facing the industry. Want to know more about how we're doing that? Go to our website or follow me on LinkedIn. Thanks for listening.